Amish Guy. Amish Guy. Peter's sister. Peter's sister. Brokeback Swanson. Things never seem to go right for Joe. In Brokeback Swanson, he tragically suffers another injury and becomes a quadriplegic. His wife Bonnie subsequently leaves him, unwilling to care for him even more than she already had. Peter and his friends try to take over those responsibilities for a while, but they can't maintain it, so they end up putting Joe in a state home. What's most painful about this episode is Joe's resignation to all of it, as he almost understands why they'd all want to leave him. It's reflective of a haunting loneliness and a poignant submission to an unfair life. It's a scenario you can imagine someone in his shoes probably experienced in real life, and that makes it all the more heartbreaking. Crisscross. This episode really just has one sad scene, but it's a doozy. Stewie performs and Murray's "You Needed Me" as Brian looks on, initially annoyed that he's being subjected to this. Soon after, however, he begins to recall his puppyhood with his mother and brothers and sisters. There's one particular scene of him frolicking in a meadow with his siblings, and another with them all piled atop their mom in front of a fireplace. Tears well in Brian's eyes. They almost certainly do so in the viewer's eyes as well. Brian wallows and Peter swallows. After Brian is arrested for driving under the influence, he's sentenced to community service, which involves him caring for an elderly woman who hasn't left her house in decades. When he first meets Pearl, she's a miserable person who treats him like garbage, and he can't stand her either. But when he discovers she was once an opera singer and possesses a beautiful voice, he begins to see beauty in her. Their friendship blossoms until one day Brian is able to convince her to go outside with him. She's promptly hit by a truck, incurring fatal wounds. As she's dying in the hospital, Brian spends his last moments with her in a virtual reality session, in which the two get married and spend a life together. She then dies in the real world, leaving Brian just as sad and lonely as he was before he found her. Even the episode's subplot has a sad ending, which sees Peter releasing his baby beard birds into the wild a la Free Willy. Tears all around. Quagmire's baby. When Quagmire discovers he has an illegitimate daughter, he is initially mortified. After a few weeks of caring for the baby girl, he puts her up for adoption. Despite his previous actions, Quagmire soon begins to realize how empty his life is and goes on a mission to get his daughter back. When he finally finds the family his daughter went to, he looks through the window and sees the love her new mother and father have for her. Quagmire then realizes she'll be happier with a functional nuclear family. There are two moments that really stand out in this episode. The first moment is when Quagmire takes his baby girl to the adoption agency after he's already spent some time caring for her. It's clear that he's grown to love her, even if he doesn't yet realize it. Audiences can see the conflict within him, which is raw and real. There's also the moment when he realizes she's better off with her adoptive parents, which is both heartbreaking for him, but it is also moving due to the growth it represents in him. Doggone. Doggone is particularly poignant and devastating for animal lovers because it's an accurate representation of humanity's disregard for animals. When Brian accidentally hits and kills a dog with his car, he's mortified. But the people in his life literally laugh it off. To prove the family really does care for Brian, Stewie helps him fake his death. Some argue their collective tears upon learning of Brian's demise is a sad moment. But what is really heartbreaking about this episode is the reminder that this really is how most people view animals, as lesser beings whose lives are worthless. Screams of Silence, the story of Brenda Q. Screams of Silence, the story of Brenda Q. Dog bites bear. Dog bites bear. New kidney in town. New kidney in town. Brian and Stewie. Brian and Stewie. Christmas Guy. Life of Brian.
Hey guys, thank you so much for the support and like and comment down below, and also thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Then take care. Bye.